Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Austin here, bringing you guys a TvP matchup here on Daybreak. It's going to be between LucifroN, the green Terran spawning at the bottom left, and MaNa on Team Mouse Sports spawning as the orange Protoss at the top right. Two things to announce here, actually three. The first being just a mini little note that this game includes the second brother Duran, LucifroN, his brother of course being Vortex, and LucifroN's the older one. Vortex was featured in the last three play. Second note is that I realize it's been a good few days since I've put out a commentary, and I'd just like to let you know that really results from the fact that there just haven't been too many tournaments, so I've been really digging for replays and good high-level matches between notable players, and they've just been few and far between outside of some ladder games or weekly tournaments. There is an IEM in Katowice, Poland. I don't know if I pronounced that right. A lot of my friends and I are really confused about how that is supposed to be pronounced. If you are Polish or you know the pronunciation, do let me know. It seems pretty confusing. And that should produce a lot of interesting games. The lineup seems pretty star-studded, so I'll definitely be bringing you some casts from that tournament. And number three, the intro drama continues. I've decided against using it after thorough consultation with a friend of mine who has over 1,400 subscribers. He's xTyler73 on YouTube, and he just felt he strongly advised me not to use it just for a number of copyright reasons that might hamper me down in the road. So I'll take his word for it and won't use an intro. If really far down I do get big enough for me to be widely noticed, then I will have an intro made for me by possibly the same fan, or maybe somebody who has more experience in the field, not trying to take anything away from Half Decent Gaming, very talented editor. But yeah, this kind of sounds even almost arrogant. I don't reckon I'll get quite that big. I hope so, of course, as any YouTuber might dream of, but I'll take it as it comes. I don't see myself getting 60,000 subscribers overnight or something, but I think over the next couple of years, if I continue casting, which I do see myself doing, there could be steady growth. But enough of my personal casting career discussion. I'm sure you guys might be a little bored, but you might not be a little bored of MaNa's decision to go for the 1 gate fast expand. LucifroN is probably going to expand himself after he scouts this. I think MaNa threw down the Nexus after he saw his opponent's wall off. Just kind of figured, alright, he's not playing anything super aggressive, super cheesy. There are probably not any proxied racks anywhere, so I think I'm pretty safe just going for the 1 gate fast expand. Very strong play if you're a Protoss player up against the Terran. It sets you up for macro games. You see a lot of TvP macro games. What can I say? It's rare that a Protoss will go for any sort of cheese, because what are you going to do? A cannon rush? Yeah, it's not viable against the wall off. Even proxy gates, you have to pretty much go mass zealot off of proxy 2 or 4 gate, and just because I've seen Tyler do that. If you guys are wondering why is proxy 4 gate so, that sounds wacko, but proxy 4 gate is actually a viable cheese strategy against Terran, either with warp gate or just chronoing zealots. The Terran, on the other hand, go for some bunker aggression, maybe, but it just doesn't seem to be worth it to these pro players, and they don't tend to go for it. LucifroN about to complete his command center, as I've been blabbing on about the different forms of underused cheese in TvP, though they're rightfully underused. I mean, I don't really condone those kind of cheesy plays because they just don't pay off. It's a different story if we're talking PvZ. You cannon rush the natural. It's not even an all-in. It just throws the Zerg off if they can't deal with it, and if you place your pylons very well. So, yeah, this CVP match always has some exciting mid-game battles that are decided by each player's micro. It all comes down to EMPs if they're present, and especially force fields, also storm micro. It all depends on the kind of units that are involved. Sometimes you'll just see a Colossus timing where it really comes down to how they are controlled against Vikings because you don't want to lose them, etc. Or maybe just like a late game Deathball versus Deathball, everything mixed in there. Maybe even some motherships against the classic Terran MMM with ghosts and EMPs and everything you can imagine. We do now see MaNa going for Robotics Facility, so he's going to go for the much preferred Robo first. I've seen Storm first a couple of times in scattered pro-level games, and it's an interesting throwback. It'll catch your opponent off guard if executed correctly. because if you show it off or you flaunt 4 gases really early, your opponent could read it and then grab Ghost Tech. But if they don't really see it coming, you get that Twilight Council decoding your base, and then maybe even get some charge along with your High Templar, then it could be a potent build order. Also, I apologize for my computer lagging a little bit there, as I do in pretty much every cast. It always happens at minor moments, though. So let's disregard that. We do now see LucifroN going for 1/1/1 Hellion Banshee, common in TvZ, but still powerful in TvP. The Protoss player is getting an Observer, however, so this Cloaking Field upgrade, I don't know how much it costs, because I think it's already being researched, so I can't see how much it costs. But however much it costs, it won't be worth it, because MaNa's got an Observer. But before I make a completely senseless statement, if MaNa does not control well, LucifroN can still deal some damage. Nice force field there out of our Protoss player. He scouted these Hellions coming. He threw down the force field. Now he's going to have a bunch of Stalkers waiting for them. Oh, in a lot of the lower leagues, Protoss players could completely die to this sort of aggression. But this is something that pro players do that even some Masters players can't. They just kind of push away this aggression like it's nothing. Don't get me wrong, some pro players collapse under the pressure because their opponent just outdoes them and is able to flat out dominate them with their harassment. That was pretty funny, by the way, Zealot dying to a bunch of Hellions. But really, some top tier pros are just able to make it look seamless. If you go into a game of PvT and you see a bunch of Hellions coming, it's pretty tough to pull all your probes in your main, get the sentry there, force field, get your stalkers ready, and then get your probes back mining while you're defending. But MaNa just made it look like it's nothing with his glorious 261 APM. He's grabbing a Twilight Council, so he's going to have an easy transition out of Colossi, or he might just want to get a quick storm. LucifroN knows about the Robo facility, so that's why he might think his opponent is going for Colossi, when in reality MaNa's just making that transition to Storm. Again, just the decision-making of a pro, very evident here in this game on MaNa's part. Don't get me wrong, though. LucifroN is getting his stim, his 1/1, and he's setting himself up for some great bio play here with this double NG Bay, a lot of racks, and his reactor building on the starport. We do now see a Banshee moving into the main. I don't know how much I've missed, not too much. It has gotten 3 kills, but there is an Observer here, and it looks like MaNa will be able to deal with this. He's got another at his natural. You see, most players might think, okay, I should be good with 1 Observer. MaNa's got 1 down here at the natural. He has 3 Stalkers also there, so he's able to deal with aggression as if it's nothing. Here's the Banshee going to come in completely unaware of its impending doom, and it will die over the skies of daybreak, maybe eventually falling down to that really well-designed planet down there. Wow, that is just fascinating. That looks so cool. But anyways, it does not look as cool as LucifroN's third does. He is currently at 53 workers, MaNa at 49, and only now got his third base half finish, not his half base third finish, because that would not make any sense. He's getting Storm as well, and is +1/+1. Going to be a little bit behind on the upgrades. I think LucifroN has scouted the Twilight Council, so he might be predicting Storm because he didn't see any Colossus tech. So, very smartly so, he is going to get a Ghost Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, I have no idea who's going to take this game at this point. Both players playing just brilliantly. The reads are spot on. It's like they have ESP and can tell exactly what their opponent is doing. Of course, they do kind of have ESP because they scout, and so they can just look over the fog of war and be like, yeah, I remember exactly where that building was and exactly what that building was, and I'm going to react accordingly. So both players have done a phenomenal job of reacting to their opponent's play. It's all really going to come down to a major engagement. Right now, I'd say it's almost in the favor of MaNa because of how well he held off that aggression and how he delayed his opponent's full bio production. Because once that Terran player starts to get on a certain number of racks and they just start pumping out units, it's hard to deal with. But they'll usually, well, some of them will opt for a more aggressive phase before that, wherein they can set you far behind and then kill you with a strong bio push. But MaNa kind of stopped that phase. LucifroN is getting his Mobius reactor for that additional ghost energy, and he's gonna have 3 ghosts out fairly soon. He's pumping them off the 3 racks he has with a tech lab. I apologize if I'm a little bit tongue-twisted today. I'm a little tired, but I felt like making a cast, and I don't know. It's a Thursday for me when I'm casting this game, so yeah. What can I say? It's a Thursday, so there are 2 ground weapons and 2 armor on the way here for MaNa, and there's going to be equally so 2 upgrades for LucifroN. Again, it's going to be an extremely close battle, but I have not the slightest idea of who is going to take it. It looks like LucifroN is a very menacing bioforce, but should MaNa be able to get some good force fields off and storm well, he could just as easily turn the game around. A good scan there from LucifroN to pick up that observer. Man, do scans ever last a long time? That seems like 15 StarCraft 2 seconds or something. LucifroN might want to try to scan this army here, because if he can catch these Stalker Zealots and 1 High Templar out of position, that could completely cripple his opponent. MaNa also has something of a 5 Zealot task force up here with a Pro building on their pylon, so we'll be able to run into that third and deal a lot of damage. I don't know if this is closed off or not. It looks like it might be. The Zealots should be able to run in through here, I'm not sure, though. There's a rocky outcropping there. No, they shouldn't be able to. It's kind of funny from this angle. So, as much as MaNa might be able to might want to get some of that in-battle aggression when you just kind of run Zealots in, I don't think he'll be able to do it. There's some decent storms. He's not really getting too many units trying to hit these ghosts hard, but it's not going to do very much for him. MaNa going to have to make a defense here at his 3rd base. A lot of his High Templars out of energy for storms. One of them gets sniped there. He has a really high charge log count. He might want to try to get a good surround here, but I don't think such is going to be the case. Very nice storm there on some of the bio, but it looks like LucifroN is still going to survive this. Who is going to take this battle? I'm not quite sure. Very nice EMP, though, washing a lot of the Protoss forces. MaNa doesn't seem like he is going to win this one. Force the Pole Probes away from the 3rd, and I think this game is going to go to our Spanish Terran. LucifroN just played this excellently and was able to dominate his opponent when the major bio versus Deathball battle arrived, which, like I was talking about for the past 10 minutes, was going to be the deciding factor in this game. He's going to move out now with probes, but even if he's able to survive here, he's just going to lose way too many harvesters. He's now down by 30, and there's the Y equals Z. I think he's probably meant GG and typed that wrong, or is just giving us a really crazy mathematical formula that LucifroN might know. But there we go, GGGO in the finals. So this is from the HP trophy, which I failed to mention before. So LucifroN must have advanced to the finals of that tournament following this. Anyways, guys, catch you next time. See you then.